not long ago, sitting down, just like you guys, in a halaqah, in a youth club, in the same, he even played in an Aqsa football club, okay, when he was a youth. That doesn't mean I'm 150 years old, alright? It just means that, mashallah, there's people who, from the same circle as this, okay, that end up doing something successful for themselves, that end up pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pleasing their parents. What is more pleasing to a parent than to see his own son or daughter achieving good results at school, doing well through college, choosing good university, good course, and then graduating, and then getting a job, getting married and having kids? That is good for you, but it's also the best thing that a father and a mother could possibly have. So during this lecture, inshallah, okay, listen attentively, carefully, focus, try to stop chit-chatting like we said in the rules and regulation. And at the end, there's question times. Yeah, do ask questions. Okay, if anybody is interested in the field of medicine or what have you, then this is the best chance to speak to him as well. Tell him exactly what courses, what subjects he taken, GCSEs, which college and what university and what he did and etc. Okay, but the talk is not going to be all on medicine. It's going to be on self-development in general, how to improve ourselves. Okay, so basically that's what the talk is about. He said, give me 2 minutes, inshallah, he's coming out soon. Meanwhile, how's everything?
Can you tell us the plan for today? What's happening today?
Today, after this lecture, we'll stop to pray Zuhr, inshallah. And then the idea is to go out to the park and play football. But the likelihood of that is quite minimum because of the weather outside.
21.
21, 24, 14. That's a compliment, mashallah. 27. So, back in the day at your age, 16, 17, me and my friends, the Shabab, the Eritrean brothers, we were playing Clapham Common with Kabir. Kabir, mashallah, was managing things for us a long time ago. So he's been around on the scene, carrying on, mashallah. So Jazakallah khair to Kabir and the brothers. But it shows you how long this has been going on for, alhamdulillah. We were actually playing for Al-Aqsa as well. So we used to win quite a lot of trophies. I don't know how well Aqsa has been doing recently. I heard it's been stopped. Inshallah, we'll try and revive it from ashes. But I finished college, I went to university, studied medicine, and I qualified as a medical doctor. I also did a psychology degree as part of my medical degree. So I have a bachelor's degree psychology. I also have a degree in medicine and surgery. Okay? So at the moment, I'm working in a hospital in Romford. I'm working in Romford. I qualified at King's. I heard you say King's. So that's where I qualified. Alhamdulillah. And mashallah, there are actually quite a few Eritreans, mashallah, who are at the university. So I'm just giving you a background because I want to be able to inspire all of you guys to go forward. We have questions at the end, yeah? Okay, very quickly. GCSEs, not all A's, but most A's. I'll go through questions after. Yeah, A levels, all A's. Alas, we'll talk careers afterwards with individuals if we need to. So I've been asked to deliver a topic. Inshallah, I want to first introduce it with regards to the youth. All of those who heard the Sheikh this morning, when he was talking about the youth, it was all very important advice. You guys have got your life ahead of you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how long it is and how short it will be. But you've been given the keys to faham, understanding, you've got your strength, you've got speed of thought, you're able to learn things very quickly, okay, you're able to put your energy into things that at age of 30, 40, 50, you won't be able to go back and do, okay? You will be able to develop yourself, but it's not going to be the same as at this age. So that's why it's important that all of you, all of the shabab here, get focused from an early stage, okay? And that's all that advice. And go the same way that he told him not to go, and to find himself in the wrong position, okay? So that's why, for a lot of the Shabab Eritrean youth who came before us, okay, there weren't a lot of older people to guide them. There weren't many, okay? So for example, my uncle's age came in the 80s, yeah, early 90s. There weren't many people to help them, to show them, okay, go to college, go to university, do this, do that. They had to work it out themselves, okay? But for you lot, okay, there are a lot of people now, role models, that us, yani the older people, we have to bring together that can show you and can help you along the way, okay? So alhamdulillah, you're in a better position than people like me were, or the people before me, yeah? So this is a ni'mah and a benefit at your stage. So inshallah, try and listen as hard as possible. So this is a topic about the keys to success, yeah? And I'm going to focus particularly on personality, okay? And I'll tell you why later. But when I talk about success, I'm talking about success in life, and we know about the true success in the dunya is to be successful in the akhirah, okay? And my talk, obviously the Hamza and Abu Bakr always been talking to you, giving you the nasiha from the Quran and Sunnah. We also want to talk about all the different sciences and connect it to show that Islam is linked to us developing in the sciences, developing in the world, yeah? So I'm going to talk about different topics linked to the deen. So the first lesson you should take is that there is no success if you're not successful in the akhirah. So for example, Bill Gates, yeah, he might be one of the richest men in the world, but if he goes to the hellfire, then what is all his money worth for him?
Nothing.
It's worth nothing, okay? Steve Jobs, okay, the founder of Apple. Apple now I think has more capital than the American government, money-wise, okay? So he was an amazing person from what he achieved. He was very, very successful in the dunya, okay? But was he successful in the akhirah? Allah only knows, but from what was apparent, if he did not die upon al-Islam, if he did not go to Jannah, then what did all of Apple do for him? The iPad, the iPhones, iPods. In the dunya, it helped him, but in the akhirah, Allah knows what his state is. So this talk is about success in the dunya, but I'm going to start it by telling you that there's no success in the dunya if you're unsuccessful in the akhirah. If you're a failure, if you're a flop in the akhirah, then the dunya doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Because it's temporary, it's a very short amount of time. And I'll tell you, because I'm a doctor, in the hospital, the way I see it, I'm always there at the end of the story. What does that mean?
Sit up.
I always see very old people come into hospital, very old, 80s, 70s, and they've lived their whole life. But they're at the last stages when I see them. And they're about to pass away, and they have all their family around them. I don't know what's happened before. I don't know what's happened in their life. I don't know whether a lot of them were in the military, World War II, so a lot of them were evacuated, they went here. They tell you they tell me the stories, okay? But then when you see them, at the end, some of them demented, they don't know where they are. You hear them at night calling out to someone, Eileen, Eileen, where are you? I think who's Eileen? Where is she? Who are they talking to? They've lost their mind, they've lost their strength, they're dependent on other people. So all of the things, all of the 80 years that they lived in their life, at the end of the story, where I come in, where they're weak, it didn't help them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this, and He says, it talks about the different ages. ثُمَّ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ أَرْضَ الْعُمُرِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the one who disbelieves in Him and humans in general. It says that ثُمَّ, like the person, he's young, he's weak, then he becomes strong as a youth, becomes a man, he thinks he owns everything, like we as Shabab, we think we're top man. Then Allah says, ثُمَّ يُرَدُّ, he'll go back to the worst of age, meaning when he gets old, لِكَيْ لَا يَعْلَمَ بَعْدَ عِلْمٍ شَيْئًا, to show that he didn't know anything. After all the knowledge, after all the degrees, after everything, it shows that he didn't actually know anything. Because he becomes demented, he forgets it all. He forgets even who his family members are. You ask. So now to talk about success in the dunya, which is what we want for all of you. We want you to be successful people in the dunya and the akhirah. Because many times people make the mistake that they think, oh, if the person, he practices his deen, he does well, he has a close connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's not going to be doing well at school. Or he's not going to be doing well at uni. Okay? And this is wrong. The person who has a close connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should know from that knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes excellence. He wants excellence in everything. And Prophet ﷺ says, Inna Allah yuhibbul ihsan, that He wants ihsan in everything. Ihsan is perfection. Perfection. Okay? So success doesn't come by accident, ya shabab. It's not an accident. Okay? You're not just going to walk through secondary school and your teachers or the people in college or lecturers or your parents, they are not going to spoon feed you success. This is one thing that you need to know, okay? That you, as a young person, no one can spoon feed you success. You have to work for it. You have to work for it. You have to spend long nights, hard days of work, of study. And even if you're not into study, of work even. You have to work hard, okay? To get there. So remember, success is not an accident. It comes with planning. And there's a very, very famous statement that you should all memorize, that failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. If you have no plan for your life, if you have no plan for what you want to do, what you want to be, then you've already on the path to failure. You're already on the path to failure. Okay? We'll take questions afterwards. Okay? So, one important thing that from our perspective as an older generation is we have to give you role models. Okay? Because everybody has somebody that they look up to. Everyone has somebody that they can ask questions, they can see, okay, that person's successful, how did he do it, what did he do wrong, what was his mistakes, what were the good things he did, so that I can avoid them. We take advice. All of us now, the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we think, is influenced by someone that we look up to, someone that we admire. Someone we think, oh yeah, look, I like the way he dresses, or I like the way he talks, or I like even the subject he's doing, or I like where he's working. Okay? The role models are very, very important. And that is for us, as an older generation, to bring those people together and connect. We need to make a connection with each other. Okay? And what I would say is, unfortunately, Shabab, a lot of our role models, you sit up. A lot of our role models are on the streets, okay? Because we, as Eritreans, okay, we're of colour, we're black, and the majority, especially in South London, a lot of the gang culture is what we associate with, yeah? The people in the gangs, we think, okay, we see them the most on the buses, outside school, at school, causing problems. Maybe a lot of us probably have run-ins with people like that, and then over time we think, I want to be like that person. He's running things. I want to be like that person. He's always making money. I want to be like that person. He's always got the best shoes, best clothes on. He's got everything. They haven't moved forward. They've been kicked out of their house. They've got a bad relationship with their parents. Okay? They're on benefits. They haven't got a job. Okay? They can't hold anything down. This is because they made a mistake at your age. They looked up to these people. They connected. And then they wanted to become like them. Okay? So I'll say to you, okay, one of the biggest problems in our community is the street culture. So we have to connect with the brothers at the masjid. We have to connect. Me. Everybody, alhamdulillah, that's good. That means you're taking the first step. You want to succeed in life, okay? So, one of the most important parts of being a successful person, and this is what I'm going to talk about, is personal development. Does anyone know what this means? Personal development. What does it mean?
It's like when you think back by yourself, not with like anyone else, like you think think about yourself and your personality and try and add on to that, so develop on it, so add on to it.
MashaAllah. I think we need to record that. So
Say it again.
I said it was like if you think back on like your personality and then like you add on to it, so like you develop means add on to. Like if for example you think you're not doing well enough in a job, you try to strive to do better on that job.
Shabab, did you hear that?
Yeah.
So there were two points, important points that he talked about. Can anyone mention it?
Can you stand up when
One
you
of the-
can you stand up please? When you ask, stand up, yeah? Oh, it's on. Great.
He said to think back and try and improve.
Okay, so 2 points. First of all is thinking back. And he said, if you notice what he said by yourself. So one of the most important parts of personal development is reflecting. Is sitting down and thinking about, and turning in and thinking about yourself. Okay? Personal development is all about improving yourself to become a stronger person, to identify your weaknesses and strengthen them. Okay? So what he said, it's about looking at yourself, reflecting. That's the one important point. Is you have to be able to look at yourself and identify where you're going wrong. And then what's the second point? The second point is to then, after you know where you're going wrong or where you can improve, is to improve. Okay? And believe me, there's no room for arrogance. Okay? There's no room for arrogance, because if you think you're the don at one thing, then you will not develop. I remember one of my friends, he used to say, I've looked for a job here, I've looked for a job there, I've looked for a job here. Yeah, but they're not taking me because I'm a Muslim, or they're not taking me because I'm black. Or I said, is that really why they're not taking you? Have you actually looked at yourself and thought how you're presenting yourself? Have you looked at your CV and seen where it's gone wrong? Okay? If anybody is arrogant about their own failings and think that they're all that, believe me, that's the first ingredient for success. So you have to be reflecting and thinking, where am I going wrong? Okay? You have to be humble enough. You have to be humble enough And this is where all successful people make their success. They think, okay, where am I going wrong? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And then they try to improve. So give me, for example, a topic in personal development that people work on. Stand up. It's okay. They'll get shy. So it's alright. You can sit down. Yeah. So what topic?
So for example, like so your personality. So if you're, for example, like if you're a football player or a businessman and you're like halfway there, and then you think because you're halfway there and like your friends have not made it like the full way, like you think you're the best, and like you're arrogant, and like you have to stop for a minute and like think like what am I doing wrong? Or,
That's
or not like once or twice, like every single time, like try and
okay. So that's what we should be doing. But I'm saying, what sort of topics are there? For example, if you go into Waterstones or the library or any bookshop or library, and you go to the self-development section, what topics are there? Business? No, that's more. Okay, maybe
101 things
business
to do.
management. Yeah.
Emotional.
Okay, so understanding your emotions. Anything
101 things you're doing wrong.
to do? Okay. Identity. Very good. Memory. Very good. So strengthening memory. Memory techniques. Authority. In what sense? Like improving your assertiveness, that sort of thing. There, that's good. Confidence, self-confidence. Very good. That's wallahi, self-confidence is one of the biggest ones. And actually, if I wasn't doing this topic, I should actually do confidence another time. So for example, time management, okay? Being a leader, self-confidence, assertiveness, yeah? All of these things are part of self-development, and inshallah, we will try and help the youngsters with this, but also, like I said, this is a personal journey. It's a personal journey. So believe me, you'll not be able to blame anyone for your failure, especially on the Yawm al-Qiyamah. And Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, on that day, they will be blaming each other. The one who followed will be blaming the one that they followed. Okay? In the hellfire, they'll be blaming each other. Yeah? The weak ones will be blaming the strong ones that used to tell them to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to be having any of it. Why? Because personal responsibility. You have to be responsible for your own success. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to be responsible for your own success in life. Okay? So, one of the very short topics I'll be talking about is personality. Okay? So we're all different. Shabab at the back. You move up. You move there. Personality is understanding what type of person you are. Okay? And for me, this came late. Obviously, as a youngster, you think about different things. You go through different things. But sometimes if you don't think in a logical way, you won't be able to pick up patterns of your own behavior. Okay? So I only started to understand my own strengths, my own weaknesses, maybe late at university time, when I used to find certain ways of studying very hard. So I think, how can I improve? And I realized that me as a person, that just wasn't the way that was good for me to study. Okay? So it took time to understand my own personality, to change my behavior to a way which was better for me. Okay? So what is our personality? Anyone? Can anyone help?
Do we let ourselves?
How we choose to act.
How we choose to act, yeah?
The attitude.
Attitude. So basically the way you think about things.
Yeah.
Attitude.
Characteristics.
So traits.
Yeah.
So subhanAllah is very complicated. Personality is about the way, how emotional you are. So for example, there might be some people very angry, some people very soft, some people very calm. That's emotions. Okay? And then there's attitudes, the way you think. the way you think about something. Someone might be very logical in the way they think about something. Okay? Someone might be more illogical than others. Okay? And then you have traits, for example. Somebody may be better at speaking. Somebody might be better at writing. Okay? Somebody might be better at communicating with others on a personal level. Okay? So all of these different things, the way you think, the way you act, the way you understand, this all makes up your personality. Okay? And this is important for us. Before I go into that, is anyone here working? Like part-time? I remember when I was 13, I did a paper round. And you working? What work are you doing?
I work in the shop.
Huh?
Work in the shop.
So is it retail, so
No, we're not.
cashier?
Huh?
So what?
No, I just help out.
Help out at the shop,
Yeah,
yeah?
very funny.
What other, anyone else working?
I'm working in a year's time.
You're going to be working. Where?
For 2 weeks.
Work experience.
Yeah.
Okay, that's work experience. Anyone got a job for part-time, like a weekly job? Yeah.
My friends.
Anyone? So we have one person working. Inshallah. You guys, I would advise you, I remember at the age 13, 14, I was working every morning and every weekend. Okay? Paper round, alhamdulillah, it was hard, it was tough, but I learned a lot and I made money. Okay? And Yusuf, you're working. I know you're working. You got it? My little brother. I know my little brother's Yusuf. He's next to you. So mashallah, my little brother, he imports from Hong Kong, and he sells cases and covers on eBay.
You should be an apprentice.
Yeah? So mashallah, this is something, believe me, your age shouldn't be stopping you from moving and shaking, yeah? We'll get to questions later. Who's got a CV? Who's got curriculum vitae? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
I'm not sure, I might have lost it.
What's a CV all about?
It's about you, like how
It's about
you are.
yeah?
Your achievements.
Yeah. So vitae means life in Latin.
It's about
Yeah?
you.
So curriculum is basically like a syllabus. So it's essentially the curriculum of your life. Okay? And why is that so important to somebody who's going to employ you? Or somewhere you're going to work?
So you know about your traits, because from your achievements, from
Yeah.
curriculum, we can also sometimes explain your.
So they know who you are. Okay, Tariq. you're
They know
gonna say-
how you act and they know to call it your levels. Stuff like that.
Exactly.
You want to
They
get
know
some
you're gonna-
information?
To show them that.
That's okay to show them if they need you, but they want to look at particular things about you. Okay? You need a CV because the employer will be comparing you against other people, and obviously they're going to see your experience. One of the most important things is experience. But also, even when you're in your job, they want to know what type of person are you. Okay? Who's heard of psychometric testing? Has anyone heard? So big companies, like Apple and like BBC, all of these big companies, once you get employed and start working with them, they'll take you through a psychometric test. And I've got one here, so you guys can have a little try. Okay? I'll take questions at the end.
Will we get
Okay?
agreed on it?
Those tests, trying to work out what type of person you are. So let's say I've never met you, okay, but I'm going to be your boss for the next year. I want to know what type of person are you without having to go through a conversation and take years to get to know you. So I'll give you a test, and it will go through and find out what you like, what you dislike, your characteristics, how you think, and then at the end it will say this person is this type of he's this type of personality. So psychometric testing is useful, but it can also be dangerous because it makes, sometimes, if they're inaccurate, someone can get the wrong picture of you just from a little test. Okay? and they haven't actually got to know you. But it's useful in that quickly you can get certain information about people. Okay? So the personality is very important. As we see in life, you need a CV for everything, and everywhere you go you need to be updating your CV, and one of the most important parts of the CV is when you talk about yourself. Yeah? So it's important for yourself, but also for your relationships with other people. So we all know, for example, what this person's like. If somebody's a bit too rowdy, we'll keep him away from someone else who's a bit like that, based on our understanding of personality. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ, he understood the personalities of the Sahaba that were with him. And they were all different. They were all different. No two people are the same. So Hamza radiallahu anhu, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhuma, they were both fierce people. They were able to move to the people of Quraysh in a way that other Muslims couldn't, because they had the authority and they had that characteristic. They were strong, they were fierce. Uthman radiallahu anhu, on the other hand, he was a very shy, modest person. He was known as Al-Hayy, very shy, modest. But he was also a very good tradesman. Okay? So he would help the Ummah and Al-Islam through the money that he gained in trade. And he would give it in sadaqah. Okay? Hassan bin Thabit, he was a poet. Prophet ﷺ used to use him for PR, public relations. Okay? Other people, for example, Ibn Abbas, Ibn Mas'ud, these people were scholars. These people were very knowledgeable. At a very young age, they understood the tafsir of Quran. So the Prophet ﷺ, if you see, he understood the personality of the people around him, and he used that for the benefit of the deen and the benefit of themselves as well. So the importance of personality, of understanding, is not just to understand yourself, but it's also to understand the people around you. Okay? And especially in your family, your friends, and you do it all the time. Everyone does it to certain levels, okay? But some more than others. So we understand how important it is to know about ourselves and know about the traits of others, okay? And it's very important for your strengths and weaknesses, okay? Does anyone want to share what they feel that they're strong in as a personality? As you personally, what do you think you're good at?
Joke man.
Chalk man.
Joke man.
Joke man, what's that, a game?
He thinks he's funny. He thinks he's funny.
Being funny, okay. Yeah, if somebody's a comedian, alas, they've got that natural talent. Anyone else?
You call you gay.
Also, your weaknesses. You have to know your weaknesses, okay? And the reason why I say this is because at this age, Shabab, you're thinking, oh, what course am I going to do in college? What course am I going to do at uni? Okay? A lot of this, you're going to know by knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. Okay? So who here is in secondary school? The rest in college, sir? Ahmed, you're in college?
Yeah.
Okay. So who here wants to go to university? Who here wants to go straight into work?
I want to go to apprentice.
Apprenticeship, that's good. So subhanallah, we know at this age, what sort of thing we want to do. Okay? But I'll tell you, especially for those who want to go to university, there are many people who went to university at my time, okay? But they didn't actually know why they wanted to go to uni, okay? They just went because people told them to go. And they don't know why they did this specific course. They just went because it was being done and it was on offer, okay? So this is not clever thinking. Like I said, failure to plan is planning to fail. And a lot of them have spent maybe 9 grand, 10,000. They've left uni and they're working in a shop, which they could have done without spending 3 years at university. Not to say that there's anything wrong with working in a shop, because I used to work in retail as well, and maybe if I wasn't working now, even while I was studying, I was working part-time. There's no job too small, but the point is, what strengths do you have? If you've studied 3 years in a certain subject, for example in business, and you're going to completely forget about it, is that clever? That's not clever. So you should be thinking now, what sort of thing am I good at as a person? Try and work it out. And there are actually a lot of online tests that you can do to try and work out. They're not running 100%. So I wouldn't say once you get the answer, you will be an accountant. That's it. The computer must be right. That's all you can do. Okay? But it can give you some idea of what type of thing you can go into based on who you are. So what I'm saying to you, Ya Shabab, in this topic about success and personal development is understand your personality. Yeah? Understand the things that you like, the things that you're good at. Okay? The things that you're not good at. In fact, sometimes it's more important to know what you're not good at and what you don't know than what you are good at. Okay? So that you can work on it and improve it. And the things you're very good at, then maybe that's the line that you should be taking in the future. Okay? And also for working with others, this is very important. I've got a little test I want to do. So this is called the Myers-Briggs. There's about 40 of us, huh? So there's going to be 1 between 3. 1 between 3. Yeah? So has anyone heard of this test? The Myers-Briggs test? Anyone from the older boys? No one. This test has got 16 different personality types based on 4 questions. Yeah? So it was done by a lady and her daughter, Myers, and her daughter, I can't remember, something Briggs Myers. I've got the full name. So it's Catherine Cook Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers, her daughter. Okay? And this was early 1900. They looked at different characteristics and they found that there were four certain areas that they could ask questions about, and generally all of human nature could be split into these groups. Okay? And I've got the groups here, 16 of them. Okay? It's not foolproof. Okay? It doesn't mean that if you are in one group that you don't have another type of personality, but it just shows generally what you're like. Okay? And each one is different. So they go through 4 questions. I'll give these questions out. So for each question, it will ask you which do you prefer? Yeah? So for example, the first question, I will go through it, whether you're extrovert or introvert. Does anyone know what extrovert is?
It's like whether you like going outside and being, or like going outside, go out a lot, or staying inside. It is.
A bit like that.
I'll staying inside and being like away from everyone else.
Yeah. So socially, your world. Are you more of a person that likes the outer world, likes seeing people, going out, doing things with people, or are you more of the sort of person that's into yourself? So it has 2 ends, and you have to say, are you on one end or the other? It doesn't mean you haven't got a part of the other end, but which do you prefer? It's just a preference, okay? So we've got a piece of paper for each person, and whichever your preference is, you just write it, okay? And it gives you a letter. For example, if you think you're extrovert, you write E. If you think you're introvert, you write I. At the end, you're going to have 4 letters. Yeah? 4 letters, and that will give you a combination, and then it will give you your personality type. So this is just for you, for your own information, and then that will be the end of it, just so that you can at least open your mind to what's out there in terms of understanding yourself. So